You know what? You were clean shaven yesterday, seriously, because I was giving you crap about your baby face, and this morning you're like baby Coco gorilla.
I have hairy ancestors. What can I say?
You got those that walk with their knuckles on the ground. Hey guys, welcome back to the Digital Entrepreneur Show. Hope you're having a fantastic day. This is the show where we talk about all things digital and how you can take advantage of those to start, run, and grow your own business, be it online or off. My name is Tim Knox, my co-host, as always, the newly bearded Professor Nez. Nez, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Hey, believe it or not, this grew in the last half hour.
You know what? You were clean shaven yesterday, seriously, because I was giving you crap about your baby face, and this morning you're like baby Coco gorilla.
I have hairy ancestors. What can I say?
You got those that walk with their knuckles on the ground. All right. And the third wheel, but the guy that's usually driving the bus and keeping us all sane, Steve GAMLIN. Steve, how are you?
Hey there, guys. Doing great. Clean shaven. Actually, it's all white now anyway, so you could just see through it. So I didn't even really have to shave.
I have seen pictures of Steve in his younger days with the corduroy leisure suit, and you had a bit of a Magnum PI thing going above your lip there.
I did, yeah. Long gone.
That was a beaut. He had birds nesting in that mustache. That was amazing. Yeah. So anyway, hope you're having a great day. Hope you're doing well in the digital world as you start and run and grow your business. We are here every Friday. We release a new show at noon Pacific time on YouTube. You're also going to find us on Facebook and on SoundCloud and iTunes with our podcast. We're everywhere, guys. And we're proud of it.
Yes. Yes.
So we also do live feeds throughout the week. We do an after talk show on Friday that Professor Nez drives. So a lot of great content, and we are here for you. We want to know what you think. We want to know if you have questions, comments, and that sort of thing. So guys, we have been talking about how to get started as a digital entrepreneur, the various tools and platforms that are available. Today, I thought we would talk about social media, because it is the buzzword in the internet world. If you are not on social media, you're missing out, et cetera, et cetera. Really quickly, Nez, just give me your initial thoughts of social media and maybe how you are using it in your business.
Yeah, I think that social media, this is what I equate with social media. It's 21st century storytelling. It's an unbelievable, accessible way for you to reach your audience at literally zero cost. You can amplify your brand. You can spread your message. You can get the word out if you use it properly, if you know the dynamics and the mechanics of each platform. And what I do is I focus on really the big four. I mean, there's a lot of ways that you can do it, but I really am adamant about Facebook. You've got 2 billion users on Facebook. That does not lie. Excuse me. You've also got Instagram, which I love, has a lot of video creation, 150, 200 million users a day, does not lie. Twitter and YouTube, which all three of us love. So to me, if you're not leveraging these platforms, if you're not able to put in the work, and yes, it does take work, right? And you're not understanding that most of the audiences today, where they are landing, where they are communicating, where they're engaging, I think you're missing out on some serious zero barrier, zero overhead cost capacity to get your stuff out there. It's just, you got to do it.
Yeah, Nez, I was actually scratching my ear. I wasn't giving you the 2 minutes.
I didn't even notice.
I thought about that. If you're one thing we do on this show to keep things rolling is that when one of us gets to the 2 minute mark, I just kind of do this real Carol Burnett thing, and then I looked in the monitor and I'm like, and Nez is like, is he scratching his ears?
What the hell are you doing?
What is he doing? So I'm sorry. I'll be careful.
No, you're fine. You're
fine. Steve, let's talk about you. I want to go into each one of the social media platforms and talk about which ones are best for particular entrepreneurs. But Steve, just from a high level, talk about how you are using social media and your thoughts on its place for digital entrepreneurs.
Yeah, I've been using social media for quite a while. Facebook has been around a bit over a decade. I've been there since almost day one. And I think what most people fail to understand sometimes is social media is a direct extension of exactly who you are and what you're all about, whether you like it or not. And what you're doing is you're telling the world who you are. And I think not enough people are careful about that, especially as an entrepreneur, and especially in my case as a professional speaker and author. Everything I send out there into the world tells the world all about me if they haven't seen me live yet or read one of my books. And I think it's a tremendous responsibility. It is a tool of maximum exposure. And I think if we all just remember that we're telling the world about us every time we post something, and I'm big on Facebook every single day, multiple messages per day. YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter are the big four for me. A little bit of other stuff as well, but every time I go to hit that send key, I ask myself, as an entrepreneur and as a person who is out there being positive for a living, does this adequately represent me? Because you can kill your business in a moment on social media if you're not careful.
That is such a good point, because that stuff never goes away.
Yep.
And I know that, and we'll get into it just a second, but to play on that point, a lot of employers now, when you apply for a position, you are required to give them your Facebook page, your LinkedIn page, your Twitter handle, because now that is one of the standard background checks for new employees, is what you're doing online. And, every time you hear something bad in the news, the first thing the news media does is go and check the Facebook page. Yep. And, so yeah, that stuff is out there. I know I'm big on Facebook. I'm somewhat big on LinkedIn. I use Twitter to a degree, not as much as the others. And that's one of the things I want to talk about, is how to identify which social media platform you should be on as a digital entrepreneur. And I think a lot of that, Nez, you've talked about this in the past, is the demographics of each platform. In your mind, Nez, if I'm an entrepreneur, let's say I've got an accounting firm and I want to get online. I've got my personal Facebook account. I post all my pictures and my Alabama football games on there. But Nez, what should I do as an entrepreneur? What platform should I go with first, and what steps should I take?
Well, I mean, the behemoth is Facebook. I think everybody understands that, the king of the game is Facebook. I mean, however long, as of this recording at least, Facebook is the king. I don't see them, slowing down by any stretch of the imagination. And here's another thing that is just crucial. You can create your own business page where you can produce lead magnets. You can direct traffic to other sites, to other sources, and it's basically free. It's free hosting. You don't have to pay. You actually get your own domain name. You can create a custom URL. I mean, the specs and the beautiful amenities and benefits are, abound. So, you can create your own. So I would say, you talk about demographic, and also I think psychographic is really important. Understanding the demographic of your target audience. If you're an accounting firm, I'm assuming probably your target audience is not the Snapchat 18 to 30, although, not to really kind of deny that, but I think the best place, because this is the Digital Entrepreneur Show, where we're getting things cooking, we're getting things rolling for a lot of entrepreneurs out there who are reticent. Get started on Facebook, because it's so easy, it's so accessible, and the amenities are just unbelievably, profound. So get started there, get your page going. You don't need a lot of technical skills, and I think that's a great place to start. 2 billion users and counting. I mean, that's China, or as Trump says, China. That's
yes,
a lot of people.
I love how he does this.
China.
We
got to go to China.
You did that really well.
I'm really good at Trump. If you really want me to, excuse me, we're going to China. We are going to China. Crap. We're going to stop this. We're going to have a beautiful wall. It's going to be a beautiful wall.
That's wow. I'm.
You didn't know how talented I was, did you?
I didn't. Do you do Alec Baldwin? No, I'm kidding. Well, a couple of things there I think you bring up. And Steve, I want you to talk about the demographic of this as well, because as Nez said, you're going to have different demographics on different platforms. Now, the thing about Facebook, I think they're, from 5 years to 95 years, it runs the gamut. But what you have to do is look at, okay, where's my customer hanging out? Are they on Facebook? Are they on, Twitter tends toward the younger side, although Professor Nez and Donald Trump are trying to change that. LinkedIn is primarily for business, but talk a little bit about the demographic, Steve, of, okay, I'm an insurance agent. My typical customer is 35 to 65. Where should I start getting online as far as social goes?
Actually, that is my demographic as a speaker. What I found out through the analytics on YouTube is most of the people watching my stuff are age 30 to as far as Facebook is concerned too. When it first started out, it was the young kids, but they went away in droves when their parents started to get into it. And all of a sudden it grew older. It skewed its way a bit older. So I think that is a great place where you're going to find, the people with the money, basically, the people who are running households, the people who have kids, the people who are making all these life decisions and choices that somebody in that industry could serve. And I think that's the most important thing, is to be on whatever platform it is. Just go and monitor the conversations and see what's going on out there, and then see how you can address each one. All the information you need is already out there. It's happening in the world. And these platforms give you a great way to observe it without just going to surveys and things like that, to see what's really happening in the world in real time every single day. And then determining how you can help people overcome those pains.
Yeah. Nez, you agree?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, if you Facebook, I would say definitely that specific demographic, especially the boomers and the Gen Xers and demonet, the people who have demonet. I mean, this is what the show is all about. I mean,
that's my favorite French word is
that's
demonet.
My favorite French word, demonet. So where's the money, man? I mean, you have a purpose, you have a cause, you want to inspire, you want to change people's lives. I get it. I do too. We all do. But you definitely want to do this full time. It equals freedom, and financial freedom is so sweet. Right? So so that's where the money is, right? I mean, you want to find out where your customers are, how you can sustain, on a practical level, how you can sustain your business.
Yeah.
How can you sustain your digital business? You got to go where the money is. And I think Facebook has got to be the first place to start. I love LinkedIn. LinkedIn is actually my top platform. I have over 5,000 followers on LinkedIn, and I'm getting Monet, a lot of leads, great B2B on LinkedIn, business to business. They're now entering into that business to consumer. Microsoft just acquired them. They're going to grow. I think LinkedIn might be even a big competitor for Facebook. Keep your eye on LinkedIn, folks. I'm getting a ton of leads on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I've been on LinkedIn for a while. It is more geared toward executives and business owners. But the one thing that I find interesting about Facebook, and I've actually thought about writing a book on this, is the evolution of Facebook from just a social platform that was initially for college students to where it is today, where you have all demographics. Facebook has become very segmented. You've got your baby boomers, your millennials, your Gen Xers, but there is a group or a community regardless of your demographic on there. The trick, I think, is getting on there and finding that demographic. It's kind of like finding your customer in the offline world. Get on Facebook and search for those groups and search for those communities. And one thing, Steve, I know you're very big on is the connection. The connecting that you can actually do on Facebook and how you can use that for your business, right?
Yes, definitely. As a speaker, I'm part of the National Speakers Association, and they have a Facebook community. And a couple times a week over the past few years, I would go in there and just see what's going on and what I could learn from somebody or maybe offer some advice. And about 5 years ago, I just saw this post from someone named Nancy, who said she was thinking of relaunching her speakers bureau. And I'd never heard of her. She had no idea who I was. But I put a post and I said, "Hey, Nancy, just wishing you the best for your bureau. I hope things go well and go smoothly." And she said, "Thank you." What I found out a year later when she reached out to me was, after I just sent along those best wishes, she started checking out my website, my prehistoric videos at the time.
Backgrounding you is what she did.
She started backgrounding me, and she just kind of observed, and she sat there on the sidelines. And a year later, she reached out and said, "You know what? I love what you're all about. I love how you do what you do. I think you and I might be able to work together." And she'd maintained from the beginning, "I don't know if I'll ever find an event for you to speak at or some place to refer you, but I really like what you're about, and I'm going to help mentor you along." We've been working together now loosely for about 5 years, and I just got back several weeks ago from the biggest speaking event I've ever been a part of in a conference all the way across the country because of her. And it started with a Facebook post 5 years ago, and just being authentic and real. And that's where it can start. It can go in both directions too. Believe me, I've seen it happen.
And by the way,
that one went very well.
Yeah. And by the way, sorry, Steve. And by the way, I mean, those of you listening and watching, Steve, Tim, and I where did we meet and connect? And we're starting a business. This is a
Yeah.
business. We're not just doing this for kicks and giggles.
Right.
I mean, we love to help and share and inspire, but yes, we want to amplify what we do, get our, credibility out there, get our expertise out there to leverage this, down the line. But we all met on Facebook. I've never met Steve and Tim in person. Not sure if I want to. No, I'm kidding. But I mean, it's amazing, how it's so easy, guys. Get it out of your head that this is difficult. It's not difficult. Get it out of your head that this is for kids. It's not for kids. It's for big business, small business, and especially digital entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And one other thing, if I can mention, to get out of your head, that freedom of speech allows you to say anything you want and it can't affect you. Get that right out of your head. There was a college student in the Midwest a couple of years ago, 19 years old, full boat athletic scholarship, went out, got drunk at a frat party, posted a picture of him plastered on Facebook. Monday morning, got called into the dean's office, lost his 4-year ride.
That's
stuff
another never
episode
goes
for a
away,
show.
man. Never
Yeah,
goes
we got to
away.
talk about that too. Yeah.
Hey, let me tell you
be
something.
careful.
Back in, it's probably around 2000 or so. I was writing a newspaper column, and I think it was somewhere here in South Alabama during a fraternity party. No, I know what it was. It was a firehouse, and they had new recruits, and they do a hazing ritual just like they do at college, and they made the new recruits slide down the fire pole naked. They would grease up the fire pole, and the plebes, they called them, had to. And so this one kid, probably 21, he slid down the fire pole and suffered second-degree burns on certain parts of his anatomy. And I wrote an article about this. It was a humor column, okay? 15, 18 years later, I get an email from this young man who is asking me if there was any way I could take that article off the internet, because every time someone Googles him, they find the story about him burning his balls, sliding down and I'm like, God, I'd love to help you, but it's on like 150 websites that I have no control over. So that stuff never goes away. So good point. Good point, Steve. I know neither of us have to worry about anything. They're going to go
Honey,
on and
burn all those images in college.
They're going to find that corduroy suit and that Keith Partridge hair, Steve.
that I actually still have, so that's okay.
Yeah. Burn that picture of me without a beard, will you?
Oh, scary. Well, let's
I
talk.
actually,
go ahead.
if I just add one quick thing, I was a stand-up comic for about 7 years, and I had 13 videos on YouTube of my stand-up comedy. Now, I wasn't a dirty comic. There was stuff that was adult in nature. And all of a sudden, I got to one point where my speaking career was growing, and somebody said, hey, look, I Googled your name and saw the Viagra song on YouTube. Now, and luckily, my stuff had not been shared. It was embedded in a couple places, but it was never taken away. I went and deleted every single one, waited about a week, and for a month straight, almost daily, search. It is gone. There's no record of me out there, but not everybody is that fortunate or that forward thinking to do that.
I had a similar situation happen to me just a couple of months ago. My tagline used to be a cross between Jeff Foxworthy and Donald Trump, because I was a funny business guy. Now, I came up with that in the mid-90s, and that branding had been on my personal website for 20 years. I got an email from my agent, Steve, and she forwarded me an email from a client who was interested in hiring me until they went to my website and checked it out and just saw the words Donald Trump.
Jeez.
And I'm like, you know what? Tell them to kiss my backside. But that probably cost me that probably cost me a $5,000 speaking job, simply because I had Donald Trump's name on there way before he was president. So let's move on quickly, because the show's going really quickly. I want to talk about LinkedIn, and Nez, you brought this up.
Yes.
LinkedIn is primarily I don't even know if I would call it a social network. It's much more of a networking connector place for professionals, executives, entrepreneurs, that sort of thing. Nez, I know you're using LinkedIn to get a lot of leads, and talk about how LinkedIn is different from Facebook and how entrepreneurs should use it.
Okay, first of all, LinkedIn is kind of like what I tell my clients. It's like Facebook with a tie. Your LinkedIn profile is almost more important than your CV or resume. I mean, most companies are so savvy now. They understand that resumes and CVs can only cover so much. They can only convey so much about you. I love LinkedIn, and they just changed their entire interface. So it's so much more seamless and user-friendly, and it's just so much more interactive. And actually, I think it's going to be a major competitor. You see now Google at the last I/O conference, they're doing a thing where they're having actual searchable job engines in their format, in their platform as well. And Facebook's doing a lot of job search and job hunting. LinkedIn, though, your profile is the first thing that comes up. If you don't have especially if you don't have a website, it's usually website, YouTube channel, because obviously YouTube's owned by Google, and then your LinkedIn profile. Employers are very savvy now. So they will Google your shit. They will Google your name. Sorry, excuse my language. And they will Google your name. We can cut that out. They will Google your name. Okay. And that's the first thing that'll come up on search. Your LinkedIn profile, my LinkedIn profile, optimized for title. The description in your LinkedIn profile, huge. I get leads every single day. Professor Nez, I saw your contact information. Can you coach me on this? Can you help me with my resume? Can you help me with interviewing tactics and strategies? I mean, it's for me as a digital entrepreneur, and I meet with all my clients through Zoom, through video conference. It's been a complete game changer. And now that they have ProFinder, which is similar to Upwork, but way more professional, way more seamless, LinkedIn is going to, I think everybody who's interested, who has some type of service, they provide some type of service for customers, clients, patients, what have you, audience. LinkedIn is phenomenal. I'm all in on LinkedIn. Love it.
Huge.
Demonet.
Yeah, huge tip there. Huge tip. When you are setting up your LinkedIn profile, don't just take for granted and throw a bunch of stuff in the description of the profile. Actually, Nez, you hit on this. Look at it from a keyword point of view from Google,
SEO.
people finding you from SEO.
And go look at my profile. There's a template on there. You can literally follow verbatim. It's these compartmentalized. I go through this very, very extensively and thoroughly with my clients. You can follow that template. It is gold. Gold.
Yeah. Are you on LinkedIn, Steve?
I am, yeah. I have actually started to use that as the source. We talked about blogging in a recent episode. I actually write my blogs these days on LinkedIn, and I do it straight ahead as a conversation. So it's kind of like it's the incubator there, and it radiates outward to everything else. But I've just found it to be such a great way, like Nez said, it's Facebook with a tie. I'm going after the corporate and association type of audience there. And I'm finding that I've only been doing it for a few months now that way, but I'm starting to gain more traction and have definitely increased my connections just by having that out there. So it's been a great vehicle, and I'm interested to see what direction it'll take my business.
I'm literally getting clients every single day from LinkedIn. I mean, sorry to interject there.
That's okay.
The leads are just pouring in. I'm so grateful and blessed, and I wish I could help all of them because I'd make a lot more money, but I can't. I have to say no to a few of them. But it's a phenomenal resource, guys. Pay attention to LinkedIn, especially in the next couple of years. As of this recording, Microsoft acquiring them, Microsoft's going to really, really just add a lot more depth. Watch out, Facebook. Let the games begin.
And for the audience, if you're watching this show, we talk a lot about digital entrepreneurship, and you guys have made two really super important points that I want to reiterate, so the audience doesn't just kind of pass them by. Number one is, get on the platform that makes the most sense for you to reach your customer. But when you use something like LinkedIn, it's not only a network, but you can also use it as a blog. You can use it as a lead generator. You can, what Steve does is when he posts a blog, it's basically like putting an update on your profile page, but then goes out on the main page. And another thing that I love about LinkedIn is the endorsement feature, where other people can endorse you for expertise, sometimes for expertise you don't have. But
I was just going to say that.
We won't go there.
I used to say LinkedIn is the greatest website where you can be endorsed be endorsed for things you don't know by people you don't know, so people you don't know can be impressed.
I didn't know I was handy with a crescent wrench.
But in all seriousness, when someone goes to your profile, every time you're endorsed for like marketing, networking, team building, whatever, at the bottom of your profile, all of those endorsements show up. And believe it or not, a lot of HR managers give a lot of weight to those endorsements. So that's just
Also,
another good way to build your credibility.
Fantastic, Tim. And also, just to piggyback on that, recommendations. You can request people you've worked with. I tell every one of my clients, if you're happy with my services, it would mean the world to me if you could. I send them a link. You can do this very easily. The user friendliness of LinkedIn now, you can send a request, have them write you like a little paragraph, a little recommendation of what their experience with you was like. That goes a really, really long way. And also, talking about LinkedIn publishing, really quickly, Tim and Steve.
Yeah.
This is another really quick hack, and we may need to talk about this in another show, but a really quick hack is all of my YouTube videos, I turn them into blog posts on LinkedIn and Medium with the link to the video. That's a great way to get your stuff out there.
Yeah, it really is. Okay, guys, we've got about 5 minutes left. Let's quickly talk about the other platforms. I guess out of the big three, you've got Facebook, LinkedIn, and of course, Twitter. What are your thoughts really quickly, Steve, on Twitter?
I've never been that big on Twitter. It's more of an add-on for me that say if I post something to one of the other platforms, it can be automatically put to Twitter. When I write the articles on LinkedIn, and I also use the video links in there as well, I will share it to Twitter, but being the limit of characters, I guess I've neglected it a bit. It's more of an add-on or a second thought that if I get something from it, great, but I don't really focus on there as much. It's the other big three. It's Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube.
Yeah, you know, I think with Twitter, it's more of a notification service, Nez, don't you think? People tweet out just so people can, you know, like our president aside, again, I know the Trump loves the Twitter, but for the most part, I've seen Twitter, Nez, be very useful to like restaurants that encourage their patrons to follow them on Twitter, rather. Because then if they've got like I've got 5 open tables, I'm going to do a Twitter special to get people in the door. So in my mind, it's more of a notification service. Nez, what do you think?
The use of hashtags, I think, is really big because hashtags are searchable. And this goes into Instagram marketing, which I think we may even need to do a whole new show on Instagram, because I think Instagram, being the sister company of Facebook, is a huge, I mean, there is a lot of people making a lot of money, a lot of digital entrepreneurs leveraging Instagram, but Instagram has really taken heed from Twitter. The hashtag sort of marketing, hashtag marketing is really big, and growing your audience. But again, it's just with every platform, and Twitter, a lot of people are, but I mean, Trump is bringing Twitter back. I don't know. And their stock,
he's trying.
And their stock is actually, you know, it's making some movements in a positive direction. I mean, it's not going too big, but I'm keeping my eye on Twitter because they're going live. They're going all in on live video. They've acquired Periscope, and they're turning Periscope is more kind of integrated into their interface. Twitter's gonna really be going all in on live video. Keep your eye on Twitter right now. It's a kind of little bit of like a cold ice cube right now, but Trump and live video are gonna maybe take that to another format, another level, and we need to pay attention to that. But Instagram,
it always seems like the various social media platforms are learning from each other and kind of, you know, I'll tell you, hey, let's wait and let Facebook try it out and prove it, then we'll do it. Yeah. And you see that a lot between like a Snapchat and Instagram. But, you know, really, really quickly in the last couple of minutes we've got here, you know, you mentioned how to funnel customers from the social media platforms to your business. Pinterest right now is, I believe it's the number 3 referrer of business leads because so many people, primarily women, are posting on Instagram or Pinterest. And for example, my youngest daughter, she loves playing with makeup and that sort of thing. And she's always on Pinterest looking for makeup tips and how to do her mascara and all this kind of girly stuff. But what she does is she'll see something she likes, and there's always a link where she can go over and buy. So again, that goes to demographic, primarily young females, but Pinterest is quickly becoming one of the top referrers of e-commerce there is. So guys, we got 2 minutes left. Nez, final words on social media for digital entrepreneurs?
You know, that's really interesting what you said about Pinterest. I do not have a Pinterest account, and I think focus is really, really important, but marketing is leveraging. So I agree. You know, we've talked to various entrepreneurs, and us being in the entrepreneurial world, I agree with focus, understanding audience, understanding where they are, where your customers are, and focusing and really, really giving them value in a deep way, in a profound way, in a connected way. But also marketing is leveraging. So Pinterest is something that's really intrigued me. I do not have a Pinterest account, never even once,
Right.
but it's something as a digital entrepreneur I may need to think about. So that's really interesting.
There you go. Steve, final words?
Just to recap what we talked about, the connection and the permanence of social media out there. So just be thoughtful and be aware that what you post out there is going to be around forever. Does it represent your brand?
And if you burn your parts going down a fire pole, don't tell me, because I will. Hey, this is the Digital Entrepreneur Show. We appreciate you listening. Do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Everybody do this, guys. Subscribe.
Yeah,
If you're watching us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you ring my bell. Nez likes it when you ring his bell. Also, check us out on Facebook and various other social media platforms. Guys, that is another one in the can. It's been a lot of fun. Tim Knox, Professor Nez, Steve GAMLIN. Boys, we'll see you next time.